If you guys were on the internet in 2021, then you do not need an introduction to this game. But some of you might need an introduction to this. The Mario Madness FNF mod was made by Marco Antonio and came out on February 21st of 2022. And this mod paid homage to a bunch of different Mario horror-related media, such as IHateYou.exe, the original Mario.exe image, Mario 85, and Racist Mario. This mod got pretty popular at the time, and just like most FNF mods that end up getting pretty popular, at some point people are gonna stop talking about it. But then, almost 2 years later, on December 22nd, 2023, it came back with a version 2, and it was surprisingly popular. Multiple YouTubers made videos on the mod, the songs in the mod made millions of views on YouTube, and it even created its own separate fandom within the Friday Night Funkin' fandom, which is kind of insane to me. I decided to go back and listen to some of the songs in this mod again, and it made me remember how good all these songs are. And so today I thought, why not rank all of them? This list will mostly consist of my opinion on how I think these songs actually sound, but I'll also include some other factors, like do I think the sprites look good in the song, do I think this song does something cool, or just anything else I feel like including. And while this is a worst to best ranking, I'm also going to say what tier I would have put them on in a tier list, since that's how I organized them before I actually started this ranking. And slight spoiler warning, but the worst songs in this list are only C tier songs, because the composers did a really good job at making all these songs good. Also, I did play through this mod, just so you know, and I do know what it's like to play through most of these songs, but the footage is not mine because I refuse to embarrass myself again for my bad FNF skills. Also, I'm only going to be including songs that you access via the world map. So that means none of the extra songs aside from Unbeatable, and none of the legacy songs, although I might mention them every so often. I'm also not going to include the Christmas mod that they made, although I might have to check that out at some point, considering that there's a song between Samari and Granddad. Also, along with my opinions on the song, I'm going to give like a little history lesson to the origin of each of those songs, and also my favorite part of each of those songs. And one last thing before we get into the rankings, I just want everyone to understand that this is completely my opinion, so if you disagree, that's completely fine, and I'd love to know your opinions in the comments. But please don't go be mean to anybody who has differing opinions or anything, because that's not nice. Anyways, there's 28 songs in this mod, so let's rank them all. Boyfriend, you gotta stop rapping or else Luigi will make like Ben and drown. Surprise to at least a few people, but definitely not everybody. My last place pick for my least favorite song in the mod is Thalassophobia. This song is based off of a rumor in Mario 64 where people thought that the statue inside of Peach's courtyard said L is real on it, and it was discovered over time that Luigi was actually supposed to be a playable character in the game, and they had all the assets ready for him, but he just never was. And while this whole story is actually pretty interesting, this song is not. Honestly, the part that breaks this song for me is literally just Luigi's vocals, because they're extremely drowned out, and while it does fit with the vibe that, you know, he's drowning, it also makes him infinitely quieter than Boyfriend, which is kind of annoying because I want to hear him sing. I don't want to hear this blue child sing because I've heard him sing throughout this entire mod. Not that I really hate Boyfriend that much, I just would like to also hear the opponent that he's fighting against. I saw someone make a version of All-Stars where Ultra M mimics more of the characters, and L's Real's vocals actually sounded better because they were a lot more like watery in that, but I could still hear him clearly. Also, while it's not like a constant thing or like all the time, there are definitely a few moments that feel like that the notes that they play and the music that's playing in the background don't really match up very well. And you know, I'd kind of want the music to flow with the vocals. Also, I feel like that if this wasn't my least favorite song in the mod, then I probably wouldn't remember it that much because there's not that much to remember about it to me. There are a few things I like about this song though, like the mechanic of having to press the coins whenever they appear on your notes, which while I don't entirely love because there's another Luigi song that does a similar mechanic to this that I like way more, the reference to it is neat and I just kind of like how it fits in with the aesthetic of this song. I quite like the sprite work in this song, but mostly with L's Real because Boyfriend looks like he's trying to retrieve his phone from the water. The L's Real sprites though are really good because they definitely convey that this man looks like he's gonna die, so good job on that. So yeah, it's not a bad song by any means, but it's definitely the one that falls the most flat for me in this mod. So like, What if Mario was evil? Once again, another pretty unsurprisingly low spot on this list goes to No Hope. This song is based off of a Mario series called The Power Star, which was made by Daniel Sun, and the series itself is about Mario getting possessed by Booze and then killing everyone around him because I guess you got nothing better to do when you're possessing a middle-aged Italian plumber. I haven't really heard about this series much until Mario's Madness, but I guess it looks cool. Maybe I should check it out sometime, not on this channel, but on my own time. Anyways, the song is just kinda alright. Just like L's Real, I think the main problem with the song is just the chromatics for Devil Mario. However, my reasoning for disliking them is a little bit different, and you're gonna hear me say this multiple other times throughout the rest of the video, but I just don't think his chromatics work well with the song that he's given with. Like, I like them on their own, but with this song, they just don't work well. Whether the beat's going slow or fast, it often sounds like he's just cutting himself off with every new note he hits. My friend compared it to Ballistic Witty, and I honestly really get it, because the notes go too fast for the vocals to actually properly process what's about to happen. And again, sometimes the beat just feels kind of weird, and I don't really like it that much. The dodging mechanic is kind of hard for me, and I haven't been able to beat this song because of that. I'm not gonna get mad at that though, because that's just me being bad at FNF and not a problem with the mechanic itself. The one part that is kind of cool is that moment where he has like that red flame around him. That's awesome. And again, I like the aesthetic of the song. It's dark and gloomy and everyone else is dead around him because that's just how Devil Mario does his job. And Devil Mario's design is basic, but it's effective. Again, not a bad song by any stretch of the imagination, but just not as good when compared to every other song in the mod aside from Thalassophobia. No, you didn't. You got second to last place, stupid. Luigi, stop being a wuss and save your brother, or else Nintendo won't have their infinite moneymaker. This is definitely going to be my hottest take of the video, cause I mean it when I say that I did not really like Alone that much. And again, I need to reiterate, none of these songs are bad. This is still a C-tier song in my personal opinion. But I just don't see what everyone else sees in this song, because usually when I see people rank all the songs in this mod, this song is usually towards the top, and I just don't really get it. Luigi in this song is based off of the beta game over screen for Luigi's Mansion, where Luigi is depressed from not being able to save his brother, along with this image of him holding a flower, which is why he holds a flower in the song. And as for the song itself, I mean, yeah, there's things I like about it. Sometimes the melody can be nice, the instrumental's generally pretty good, and I like the whole ghost aesthetic, and especially the Mario part. That part's really good. And like, I can't describe why I just don't like this song as much as the other ones. Like, I just don't know. I just don't like it that much. Again, this is not a bad song, I just kind of find it alright, and I don't really know why, I don't. As a wise man kinda said once, there's sometimes gonna be things that everyone likes that you just don't. If I had to try and pinpoint down a reason as to why I might not like this song, it could be because of like the sad vibe of it. And it's not that it does that vibe poorly, it does it really well, and I'm glad that they tried to do that. But at the same time, it kinda just makes me think, I wanna listen to a song that's catchy and head-bobbing for me, and not a song that makes me depressed. And you know, that might be the reason. The song itself just isn't my kind of style, and I prefer the other more energetic songs in the mod. And I understand that some of you guys might be upset with that, but that's the truth. That's genuinely how I feel. And if you don't like that, then that's okay. You can disagree. I didn't come here to say that Alone is an awful song and that all of you should hate it, but I just don't think it's for me, and that's completely fine. And if you like it, more power to you. Something I think we can all agree on, though, is that the OG Alone was pretty bad. It's extremely slow, Luigi's vocals are way too quiet, and it's just very boring. So again, this version, alright for me, but I don't really like it that much. dude, wouldn't it be so funny if I just named my creepypasta game after one word that people use in their day-to-day lives? Only after 3 songs are we finally now in the B-tier songs, and Dark Forest I don't think is an unpopular take. The song is based off of a Super Mario World ROM hack titled The, or Coronation Day as more people like to call it, with the main thing that you face in this ROM hack being a corrupted Peach called the Forest King, and I still don't entirely understand what the lore of this story is, so I'll definitely have to check that out, not like as a separate video, just on my own time. All I know is that there's multiple different routes to take, and it's very cryptic. Anyways, for the actual song itself, if there's anything I have to say I don't like about it, I didn't like whenever the Forest King was screaming in the middle and at the end of the song, just because I feel like it brought the song down and was really unnecessary. And while it's not too often, there is the occasional part where the rhythm just does not work for me, but the song is still generally good with very good vocals and very good instrumentals. I also really love the Forest King's design with how it looks all torn up and ripped apart, and it's also just nice to see more Peach content, especially because I think there's a song that we'll get to later that I don't think did a great service to Peach. Another thing I liked about the song was when the Forest King had his little monologue and then threw BF to another part of the map. That was a pretty cool thing that they put together, and I appreciate that. Also, while again, I don't like the screaming, I really like the bit at the end where everything is extremely glitchy, including the Forest King. It acts as a really good ending to the song, not just because of how intense the visuals are, but because of how intense the music is to complement those visuals. So aside from a few problems here and there, overall this song is generally pretty good. I spent hours of my life stomping Koopas. So Cool is a song that's unanimously considered the worst song in the entire mod, and I don't really get it, because, like, yeah, sure, it's not great, but there's so many songs that aren't as good, and yet you guys think this is the worst one? Not to say you can't hate it, I just don't understand. This song is based off a meme that came from the Nintendo Direct of September 2021, where Miyamoto revealed the casting for the Super Mario movie, and the very first one that they announced was that Chris Pratt would be voicing Mario, which the internet found absolutely hilarious, for in my opinion, very valid reasons. And quick side rant, somewhat related to the song, I never really minded that Chris Pratt voiced Mario in the Mario movie. Like, I understand why people are upset, and I wouldn't want Chris Pratt voicing Mario in general, and Chris Pratt's performance wasn't generally, like, interesting, but, like, I feel like for just making Mario as, like, a normal guy, I think it makes sense. As for the song itself, I really like the way they styled it, with Boyfriend being a streamer and him having an actively working live chat as the stream goes on. I also like Miyamoto at the beginning to introduce Chris Pratt. I thought that was a nice little touch. In terms of its melody, the best way I can describe it is, like, relaxing. Like, the song feels like it would work really well in one of those 10-hour-long lo-fi playlists, and the melody overall just fits in with the Nintendo Direct sort of vibe. Along with the general song, I also like the visuals, like how whenever Boyfriend hits a note, his room changes to the color of the note, and that's pretty much all I have to say about it. It's nice and simple, but I think it's a pretty decent song, and I generally like the Chris Pratt meme. Also, I think I might have accidentally turned people into Beta Luigi for ranking this song above Alone. I tell you, this guy, he really loves his caterpillars. I honestly don't know what the general consensus on Last Course seems to be, because some people really love this song and some people really hate it. Personally, I think it's pretty good, but definitely not close to any of the other songs in this mod. The character we see in the song Turmoil is a Mario horror OC created by Scrubdub, who is Mario after he ate a mushroom that had Yoshi code in it. So now he has powers and a slight mindset of Yoshi. I used to like the song a lot less, but it slowly started to grow on me, so I like it a bit more now. My honest one big gripe with the song that just stops it from being any good is just Turmoil's vocals. Because for the same reason as Devil Mario, I think they're fine on their own, but for this song, I just don't think they work. I don't even know really why this time, I just don't think they fit. On the plus side though, I do really like the vocals they gave BF in this song. I don't know why, it just kind of sounds very funny. I like the intensity of some of the instrumentals, like the drums, which kind of sound like some sort of rituals going on. And there's also something about the instrumentals that gives a nice, mysterious vibe to me. I don't know why, but it just does. I like the visuals with all of Turmoil's sprites looking very expressive, and I just like that they made Boyfriend a Goomba. I also think it was very creative of them to turn those little speaker boxes that you'd use in Super Mario World into a little warning sign from one of his two mechanics. Speaking of mechanics, yeah, he has two different mechanics, one where he'll stick his tongue out at you to try and eat you, and you have to dodge it using the space button, along with the fact that whenever he hits a note, he can decrease your health bar. These two factors make for a song that's pretty challenging, and that I feel like I could beat, but haven't done so yet. Also, if I had to say one more thing I didn't like, it would simply just be the ending bit, because that part felt a little wonky to me. So overall, another pretty decent song from this mod. So, like, what if Mario did funny little pranks? For me, Bad Day is a very interesting song to talk about. The song is based off of a Mario animated series called Super Bad Mario Made My Postique. And the series was about random clips of people getting hurt in real life, with Mario edited into them, making it look like he was the one that was doing all of it. The series is also insanely impressive to me because these videos are over 10 years old, yet they look really good with how the animation is done. There may have only been 2 videos in this series, but if you haven't, you should go check them out. They're actually really fun. The only 2 real issues I have with the song is that Mario's chromatics are a bit quiet, though not as bad as Ella's Real, and some of the parts don't entirely flow well with me, but overall, this song is still very good. The instrumentals fit with the vibe of Mario, that being extremely upbeat, and also uses sounds and motifs from Super Mario World, which is extremely fitting. This song also has some mechanics like shells that Mario will throw at you to decrease your health bar, and poison mushrooms that, if they show up on your notes, you can't touch. And a little bit later in the song, Mario will jump on all the notes, which lowers them, which means you gotta react faster when you have to hit your notes. And along with that, he also entirely gets rid of the health bar. All of these mechanics fit really well with the way Mario acts in the Super Bad Mario series. There's also a lot of little things I like about the song, like Mario's icon dancing and also when Mario himself dances. So yeah, pretty good song, and I also really like the thing that it's based off of. Then the hyper-realistic Mario with the hyper-realistic blood killed me with his hyper-realistic hands. While I wouldn't say It's a Me is the greatest song in the mod, it definitely does give a good first impression when you first play it. This song has a few places that it takes inspiration from. Like, for example, the main villain of the mod, Horror Mario, is based off this very iconic image of Mario by the DeviantArt user Shadow Shauna. And the mushroom mechanic that's used later in the song comes from a Mario.exe game made by Cool Rash on Game Jolt, where they show up in the second level of a game made to be obstacles for Luigi to avoid. I don't have all too much to say about the song, so I'll get through it decently quickly. The only 2 issues I have with the song is that sometimes Mario's vocals are a little bit too quiet, and some parts do feel a little bit weird rhythmically to me. But this song still has so much going for it, like all of Mario's sprites looking extremely cool, especially his left sprite. The song feels intense all the way through, like at the beginning with the rock hard rhythm, and towards the end with the music getting faster. And in general, the end just entirely hits different with flames corrupting the entirety of the stage, and it just sounds heavenly. This song is a great introduction to the mod, and even though I have it at high B tier, I definitely could consider putting it to low A tier. Also, yes, before you ask, version 1 of It's a Me was not very good, and aside from Maybe Alone, this is definitely the version 1 song with the biggest glow up in the entire mod. Those
mascot horror games, always relying on those chase sequences in order to make them games scary.
Demise is a song, for the most part, I have kind of mixed thoughts about, but before we do that, I want to talk about what the song is based off of. The only problem is, I got so many different sources telling me who made Mario 85 and MX as a character, and it genuinely makes me really confused because I have no idea who it is. So if anyone in the comments could tell me who made and who currently owns Mario 85 and MX, that'd be great. I can at least talk about the original game though, considering that most versions of it are pretty much the same. Mario 85, or Mario PC port, is a recreation of the original Super Mario Bros., but the game forces you to play as Luigi, as he's the main character, Lucas. And at the end of the stage, you come face to face with MX, and you have to run away from him as he chases you down. This game became extremely popular in the Mario horror community, to the point where MX is probably the most popular Mario horror character as of right now. Even Marco Antonio, the creator of Mario's Madness, made a remake of Mario 85 called Fallen Kingdom. As for the song, for me, it's a little bit too noise spammy in some parts, and that's really my only complaint, because there are still a lot of parts of the song that sound extremely good and flow really well. The song sounds extremely intense, which very much fits with what's going on in the actual song. I also like how the instrumentals calm down a bit once you get to the second cutscene of the song, and when MX comes back, the intensity gets brought back to the song. This is also a good time for me to mention that this song, and another song we'll get to later, does something unique with the time limit, with this song specifically pausing the time limit at 3 seconds until the song actually ends. It's just a neat little detail that didn't need to be there, but I'm glad it is. Also, I can't talk about the song without talking about the running animations, because it is really impressive how they were able to pull this off. Since they had to have some sprites separate from each other, like the legs and the actual body, and it's cool that they actually managed to make it work. It's a great song to start off the A tier, but it has a few problems that stop me from putting it in S tier. Also, MX's vocals in the second part of the song are kind of funny, but I didn't mention them up until now because I didn't have much to say about them.
So edgy and so freaking badass.
Race Traders to me is a surprisingly pretty good song. This song is based off of a Mario parody video by Flashgitz called Racist Mario. And no, unlike every other Mario related thing that I'm talking about in this video, I'm not going to go into depth about it because it does not deserve it due to it being extremely generic as a parody, and also the fact that I feel like it should be locked behind bars. As for the song itself though, I don't have that much to say about it other than it's just pretty good. I really like Mario's vocals here because it definitely just highlights the anger of this specific version of Mario, and I like that. The instrumentals for this song also quite feel like a song you might hear in Mario Kart, aside from like the occasional random sound effect. The mechanic of the song as well is also just really cool to me. How it works is that at about the end of the first quarter of the song, Mario will be given 3 different power-ups from the Mario Kart series. There's red shells that deplete your health bar whenever he hits one at you, boos that will make the notes slightly transparent, and bombs which act as those notes that you can't hit. I find this to be a pretty cool way of implementing Mario Kart mechanics into this game, and this song in general kind of just feels more like a Mario Kart song than it does a song based off of Racist Mario. Also, I need to talk about version 1 of this song because it is really funny to me. First of all, aside from the icons at the bottom, this is the only song from version 1 that has the exact same character sprites. Like with every other version 1 song, the character sprites were remastered in some sort of way for version 2, but all the character sprites in this song are the exact same as they were in version 1. And second, while the Mario chromatic they did use was worse, the chromatic for Mario was literally just a bunch of random Mario sound effects slapped together, and that's just really funny to me. So yeah, version 1 is definitely a worse song, but it's definitely a much more funny song than version 2. The only actual complaint I can give to the song is that, just like a few others before it, there is some parts to me that don't feel right rhythmically, but overall, this is still a really good song.
But look guys, look, it's the only Wario song in the entire mod. Ah, ah, ah.
I find it weird that Apparition had a complete 180 spin on how people thought of it when it came out in version 2. People really liked version 1, but for some reason they just don't like this one, despite the fact that both of them are almost the exact same with just a slight few differences like better chromatics. This song is based off of the trend of Mario 64 copies being personalized, with most of them depicting this floating Wario head chasing Mario down a really long hallway. One of the things that started this trend in the first place was an E3 live presentation where Charles Martinet used a floating Wario head to show off a game of Pong. And while I don't know who it was, someone online did post an image from that E3 Direct along with this image that I'm pretty sure is fake. But because of that, this trend became extremely popular and it was seen online for a pretty long time. Also in this mod, Wario is often seen with the green hypnotic eyes through both this part and also his left sprite, with that entire visual being based off of a commercial for Super Mario Land 2 6 Golden Coins where Wario is brainwashing everyone into attacking Mario, which is actually the lore of the game too. Anyway, as for the song itself, it's pretty good. I like the way the camera is set up, and I also just generally like the instrumentals. I think they kind of have a nice haunting vibe to them, which fits with the entire concept of the Wario apparition. Like I said, I think the Wario chromatic is pretty good because it actually does sound a lot more like Wario than version 1 did. And again, I'm still kind of confused as to why people don't like this version, yet they love version 1, even though both of them are very, very similar to each other. And if you ask me, this version of Apparition just sounds better in general and looks better. Also, if you like version 1 over version 2, I don't mind, I just am confused. In my personal opinion, I think that this song is a little bit more forgettable than the other ones, but it's not bad by any means, and it's still really good. After all, it's ranked up this high for me anyways.
Peach then jump-scared me with her eyes full of blood, but I just passed it off as a glitch and continued to play the game.
Okay, we're getting to the point where I might be starting to repeat myself because there's just not too much I can say about songs that are already so good. I think I'll just get what I really like with the song out of the way first. I really like Mario's vocals, as I did with It's a Me, but what makes this song shine the most is with its instrumentals. Not only do these instrumentals show the intensity of the song, but these rock-hard instrumentals just go insanely hard. While he wasn't really needed at all, I love the appearance from John Dick, who I found out is apparently supposed to be, like, referencing John Wick. What surprises me the most is how well the trumpet goes with the rock-hard instrumentals. Also, I should definitely point this out, I love the animation of Mario snapping his fingers, it's very clean. The only thing that I kind of disliked about this song that I feel a little bit bad for disliking is the appearance of Peach.exe and Yoshi.exe. But before I get into my issues with them, I should probably talk about where they even came from, because they're the only two new additions to this song that actually have origins. Peach is pretty simple since she came from this image, which was made by the same person who made the Horror Mario image. And Yoshi comes from this Yoshi.exe game made by Scotchy. However, I'm pretty sure that this game is now unavailable aside from a single re-upload of it. As for my problems with them, it's not the fact that they showed up. In fact, I'm glad that they showed up and they're a welcome addition to the song. I just don't like the chromatics both of them use. With Peach, there's a demonic filter over it, which does kind of make sense considering that Mario has the same one when he talks, but that's only for when he talks. When he's actually singing, he doesn't really have this demonic filter over him, and it sounds fine. But when having it actually being used as chromatics, it just feels weird. And as for Yoshi, his vocals are just extremely quiet, so it's kind of hard to hear him when he's singing with Peach, and also sometimes they just sound a bit too similar together. But that's honestly my only problem, because everything else about this song is great. Plus the melted Mario towards the end is very cool. I like that. So yeah, this song is really good, but just has a little tiny issue holding it back from S tier.
Granddad! Flintstones? Aww.
Nourishing Blood used to be one of my favorite songs in the entire mod, but looking back at it now, I feel like that might have just been the fact that I have a huge bias towards the thing that it's based off of. Not to say that this song is bad though, it's still really good. I mean, it's ranked this high for a reason, but I've definitely discovered that there are better songs than this one. This song is based off of a bootleg Mario game known as 7 Granddad, which came from a collection of 6 other Mario bootleg games. As for the game itself, it was a bootleg of a Flintstones game known as The Rescue of Dino Dino and Hoppy. Aside from the iconic title screen, the only thing they really changed in this bootleg was the fact that Fred Flintstone's head has been replaced with Mario's head from Super Mario Bros. 3. And of course, it wouldn't be as popular as it is if it wasn't for Vark Skeletor Joel playing the game on stream, where upon opening the game, he says the line that has been memed on for over 10 years now. Granddad! As for the song that was based off this meme, it's also pretty good. To get the issues out of the way real quick, there's just some parts that don't flow for me, and yeah, that's really it. Since the original game didn't have that much to it, a lot of the things that are referenced in the song are references to Vark Skeletor himself. And while I'm not some big, huge super fan of Joel, I do really like the references that they still have, like with Bonzi Buddy, Kermit the Frog, and Protogent. I think they're very nice additions to the background of the song. Something else I love about the song is when they change from the title screen of the game to the actual game. Because not only does this part look really cool and also sound really good, but I also love how in the background, all the different Marios that are there are from the same collection that Seven Granddad was a part of. There's even some little things like the little notes bouncing to the beat of the song. Speaking of the song, I really like the instrumentals because they're nice and bouncy, which kind of just fits the vibe of a goofy meme song. With the song using motifs from both the Flintstones and also other meme songs. I also really like Seven Granddad's vocals, considering that they're just Joel's voice since they don't have any other voice to pull from, and I think that's kind of funny. Also, the sprites look pretty goofy sometimes, and that's absolutely perfect. So yeah, I really love this song, and I love what it's based off of almost just as much.
Mario, I hate you. I hate you so much. I want you dead. I want you dead, Mario. Mario, die!
I'm not even halfway through the songs on this list, and yet I feel like we've already gotten to the S tier, starting with Oh God No. This song and another song we'll get to later are based off of a Mario creepypasta known as IHateYou.exe created by Slimebeast. The creepypasta was meant to be a parody of gaming creepypastas as a whole, however somehow ended up becoming a gaming creepypasta itself. This song references this moment of the creepypasta in which Luigi is fighting against Mario due to Luigi feeling as if he's always been overshadowed by Mario. And the name Oh God No comes from just multiple different things in the mod, like the thing that Luigi says before he dies, and also the fact that it's the name of the last level of the game. This song is really good. The instrumentals are intense while also having a Super Mario World themed vibe to them, both of which somehow mix really well with each other. I quite like the vocals for Mario and Luigi, though I find it very interesting that for Mario specifically, the chromatic they made was from sound bites from the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, despite the fact that Luigi's sound effects are completely normal, and I'm assuming that's just because they had a voice actor for him. I also like the backgrounds. There's a nice flary vibe to it, which fits with the whole lava and fire that goes on within the actual mod. I also really love this part where Mario and Luigi are shown as solid colors as Peach fades into the background, with the instrumentals becoming very somber as a rendition of the Super Mario World theme song starts playing. I really liked it. It was really well done. And yeah, that's really all I have. This song is just a vibe through and through.
Mario, I still hate you. I still hate you, Mario. Why can't you take a hint?
I Hate You was a song that was great in version 1, and is even better in this version. Like with the previous song, it's based off of the I Hate You creepypasta, with it specifically referencing the very end with Luigi's appearance on the end screen. And while that original screen was very goofy, I do think that the Luigi design in this mod translates really well and actually looks raw as hell. I really want to know though, how come even though he looks like someone that's about to make fun of anyone for simply just existing, his clothes clothes are still on his body after he got dropped in lava. Like, shouldn't they all be burnt off or something? Anyway, the song is really good with really intense and fast-paced instrumentals, and Luigi's vocals have had a filter put over them to make them sound dry, and it fits really well. And towards the end of the song, there's some other references to the original creepypasta, like the eyeless boos, the text on the walls, and the dead Mario bodies. They also have this lava mechanic where the lava will rise in front of the screen and block the notes, so that way you have to react faster to them. And this mechanic is really cool, but I can definitely tell that this song was meant to be played with up scroll, because while I don't have footage of it, if you play with down scroll, the lava just comes from the ceiling, and that's kind of funny. So again, this song is absolutely amazing, and it's impressive considering that we're not even at the top 10 yet.
Hey guys, it's me, Sonic. I somehow managed to sneak my way into this mod by wearing a spare Mario costume. I don't know how they didn't recognize me as Sonic, but whatever.
I definitely used to sleep on Mario singing Game Rhythm 9 because this song is genuinely so good. Just like Nourishing Blood, this song is also based off a Mario bootleg known as Samari, which is literally just the original Sonic game, but worse, and they replaced Sonic with Mario. So yeah, the origins for this song are kinda lame, but the song itself is not. They go all in on the NES bootleg aesthetic for this game, from the title of the song to boyfriend and girlfriend being bootleg versions of Pikachu and Eevee. I love the instrumentals with them being all 8-bit, upbeat, and catchy. I also really love Samari's vocals because they actually sound like a mix between Mario and Sonic. The best part of the song, though, definitely has to be the sprite work. The background is very pretty, and the characters, despite being 8-bit, manage to communicate a lot of emotion through their different sprite animations, since all of them are pretty heavily exaggerated. I like the idea that the song is being played on an emulated Game Boy Advance. And one last thing I wanted to mention is the ring mechanic that the song has. The rings will randomly show up on the notes, and you have to hit them in order to add them to a little counter you have. If you miss a note while you have rings, then all your rings get removed, and if you miss a note while you have no rings, then you fail the song. And because I usually miss 100 times during one song, I was never able to beat this song, and I probably won't unless I get enough practice. But I really like this mechanic because it ties back in with the whole Sonic thing, and it's really cool. Overall, this is an extremely good song that I have just been missing out on.
I couldn't see that coming.
Just like with I Hate You, Golden Land was a song that was great in version 1 and is even better in version 2. Unlike I Hate You though, there's not really anything that this song necessarily comes from. The only two places of origin that I can think of for this song are Super Mario Land 2 for obvious reasons, and also the fact that the character in this song, GB, is an OC character created by Marco Antonio himself. Despite a real lack of origin though, this song is still phenomenal. I like the Super Mario Land 2 art style, like I said, and they both made the instrumentals and the chromatics sound really crunchy, just like an old Game Boy. Also, while I obviously expected it, I really liked the way they handled the, bait and switch twist of the song. Obviously, the song starts all nice and fun, with the timer being surprisingly short for the song. However, once BF starts hitting that really long note, the timer goes all the way back down to a certain point. Then GB looks at the camera with a smile on his face, and then we get what the song is really all about. Like with most songs that do this, the rock hard instrumentals are amazing. I feel like I've never been that much for rock, but for some reason this song just works for me, I guess because there's not just a bunch of guys screaming in it. Also, I can't describe this in any other way, so I really like how unique GB's chromatic is. I also really love GB's animations, because not only are all of them extremely expressive, but whenever he finishes playing his notes, they have a little animation that makes it look like he's going back to his idle one, and that's extremely cool. The only, and I mean only, thing that I think version 1 did better than version 2 was just GF in the background, because in that version I can actually tell that there's hands that are holding GF in place, but in version 2 it just kind of looks like she has really long fingernails because of how simplified the sprites are. Don't have much else to say, this is just another really good song. despite being called the end, it's still not the end of the mod, and there's still another part that actually constitutes towards the end of the mod. The End is the first of the Classified Castle songs that's on this list, and considering that we're already almost in the top 10, that just shows you how good I think the Classified Castles is. Sure, there may have been only 3 songs in the area, but so did the first area, and that only had 1 song get S tier. Also, just before I talk about where this song originates from, I need to explain that the version I'm talking about is actually version 2, because version 1 is not as good, and for some reason that's the one that's in the mod and not version 2. But considering that the one I'm about to talk about is the official version of the song, that's the one I'm going to be talking about. With that out of the way, I can talk about the origins of the song. This song and every other song from the Classified Castles, as of that fact, are based off of a Super Mario 64 analog horror series called Super Mario 64 Classified, made by Tetrabuns. This song specifically is based off of this entry, where at the very end we see a picture of what looks to be a Mario costume with a young child that has a distressed look on his face. At least that's what I'm pretty sure they're showing, because it's very hard to make out because of analog horror graphics. Just to be clear though, I'm not here to analyze the lore or anything, because I know barely anything about this series and I'm mostly just doing research for it for this video, so no, I won't get nitty gritty about lore details or anything. Anyways, as expected, I think this song is really good. It's got a VHS filter to it, and I know that Apparition also had it, but it definitely works for the song a lot more considering that it's actually based off an analog horror, not just some Mario rumor. The instrumentals are kind of like techno to me, which I guess wouldn't really fit with the setting of the song, but I just really like it. I also like the costume's chromatics because it feels broken, and that's a perfect way to describe the character that you're fighting against. It feels like a broken down, old, and forgotten Mario costume that no one wants to use. Although probably my favorite part about the song that isn't the song itself is the animations, from the lifelessness of the costume sitting down, to the more exaggerated movements when it's standing up, to its threatening presence when GF is in its possession. All these animations are great and give life to a seemingly lifeless character. Overall, another banger song to add to the list.
What a concept.
After like 40 minutes of this list, we are now at the top 10, and to start off we have Day Out. This one to me was a surprising banger, considering that when this mod first came out, I didn't really like it this much. This song is based off of a very popular Mario parody animation known as Luigi's Day Out by Hot Diggity Demon, or as you might now know him, as the guy who said,
"What a concept."
And even though it's a little bit much, I do think it's a little bit more original with the way it parodies Mario, because instead of just being what if Mario was evil, it's what if Mario was an edgy teenager. One thing that really confused me about this animation though, is that for some reason Mario and Luigi are in like their 20s or 30s, yet they're still being treated and act like children. It just feels like a really weird decision to me, because honestly it would have been way funnier if they were children and they just had comedically big mustaches for young children. The song specifically references this part of the video, where Mario and Luigi are waiting for Daisy and Waluigi to show up. Also, I listened to the song enough times to where I was able to memorize Luigi and Mario's dialogue in this part of the video. Here, let me prove it. You gonna tell Mom I was smoking? No, Mario. I'm not gonna tell. Yeah, you better not or I'll kick your ass. Anyways, Day Out is really good. There's some Mario-esque sounds for the instrumentals, which work really well in my opinion. And I feel like the vocals for Mario and Luigi very accurately replicate Max's voice. And unlike most other songs in the mod, this is definitely a more laid-back and chill song, which fits with the whole vibe of friends getting together and hanging out. The mechanic they have of randomly switching between playing as Boyfriend and playing as Luigi is a pretty neat one. I don't have much to say about the mechanic itself though, and more so the way they do it visually. Like whenever Boyfriend is singing, Mario is using his normal idle animations, but whenever Luigi is singing, Mario has a more angry expression. Also, when Mario calls Luigi a dumbass geek, Luigi becomes very upset, and I think that's very funny. The art style of the song is also pretty good, because while it doesn't do it to a T, it does try its best to recreate Hot Diggity Demon's art style, which I appreciate. And one last thing I wanted to point out with the song is that both Boyfriend and Girlfriend are supposed to be replacing Daisy and Waluigi in the song, which is evident by the fact that Daisy's voice lines get reused for Girlfriend. And that's pretty much all I got. I definitely say that out of most of the songs in this mod, this is definitely up there as one of the most underrated. Not the most, but one of the most.
guys, today we're exploring the abandoned Super Mario 64 level that people often go to. Make sure to like and subscribe for more awesome Abandoned House content.
Abandoned is another one of those songs that I've just been absolutely sleeping on. Like, I don't know why I haven't thought that this song was in the top 10 for so long, but it just is. Just like with the end, it comes from the Mario 64 Classified series, but coincidentally, it's from the same entry too. And even funnier, it was a split second. Like, this character shows up for not even a full 5 seconds, and yet there's an entire banger song about it. Anyways, as for the song, it has a very haunting and mysterious vibe to it, which fits with the whole mystery of Mario 64 Classified. Also, I'm gonna be honest, these are the most Luigi sounding vocals in the entire mod. There's no other song that has more Luigi sounding vocals. And all of these elements come together to make a song that, to me, sounds mystical. That's the best way I can describe it, I can't think of any other way. A close second to my favorite part of the song, though, definitely has to be all the sprite work. I love all of Luigi's 2D sprite animations, with some of them looking dull and lifeless, and others looking like he's being puppeteered around. And then there's the 3D sprites, and oh my god, they look so clean. Not only are all of them really smooth, but I also find it so commendable that they made a custom Boyfriend N64 looking sprite. The only other thing I wanted to mention about the song is the mechanic, where when you press these things, you rise the water down just a little bit. However, I mostly just like the fact that the higher the water rises up, the more muffled the song gets, and I think that's a very cool attention to detail. Again, another fire song, and I'm upset that I slept on it for way too long.
Boyfriend, where's my money? You told me you would get the money like 2 months ago. Give me the money!
Dictator is another one of those songs where I didn't really like it when I first heard it, but given more time, I ended up liking it way more. And I gotta be honest, I never really expected that I would end up liking it this much. Since this is the last of the Content Cosmos songs on this list, this is the last Mario parody animation that I'm gonna be talking about in this video. This song specifically is based off the animation Secret History of Super Mario Bros. By Mashed. I did know about Mashed, but I never actually heard of the video until I saw the mod. And while I didn't see that, what I did see of them was stuff like Super Anime Bros and the Roller Die song. Also, I wanted to mention this because I don't think I'll ever get to again. The voice actor for Mario, Kevin Afghani, used to voice for this channel, and that's kind of funny. The thing about this animation is that even though it's kind of another one of those, oh, well, what if Mario was a big piece of shit? The idea of Super Mario being some sort of evil, megamaniacal businessman is kind of funny to me. And while the animation itself isn't very funny, it does definitely do what it's supposed to do, which is parody Mario being evil. Plus, the art style has a very dark and gritty feel to it, and the animation's pretty smooth. With the exception of Super Bad Mario, this is definitely what I would consider to be the best of the Mario parody animations that are shown in this mod, at least in my opinion. Anyways, the song is great, with the instrumentals having this nice jazzy tune to them, and I really like jazz, so this works well for me. I also like Mario's vocals because they don't sound Italian-like whatsoever, but it fits well with how this is a more serious version of Mario. But at this point, the mask has slipped off, and he's no longer the Mario that everyone once knew. Plus, I gotta respect how the art style of the song almost perfectly replicates the Mashed animation. Also, while it ain't the most groundbreaking mechanic ever, I do like the little thing they do where you have to press double notes whenever a bullet bill appears. Cause while it was easy, it was a nice little challenge. Only other thing I got is that I like how the animation specifically references this point from the original, where Mario is complaining to Sonic about how the Dreamcast sold really well. But this time he's complaining to boyfriend Friday Night Funkin' that his Kickstarter's too successful. Which is, I'm pretty sure, the reason Mario's doing this, so that way he can get rid of all of the competitors that he's dealing with in gaming. Yeah, that's all I got. This is a banger song.
Went through about an hour of songs, an hour of different versions of Mario, and all I have to show for it are dead corpses.
All-Stars is an almost perfect send-off to this entire mod. While I do think there's some general things they could have done better, which I'll get into in a bit, it's hard for me to rank it below S tier just because of the sheer scale of this song. There's not too much to say in terms of origins of any kind. All there really is to say is that Act 1 takes place in New Donk City from Mario Odyssey, and Act 2 takes place in Super Mario Bros. 3. Now, the song is split into 4 parts, which is great for a finale song, but because of this, I'm going to just talk about each of them individually, and when I get to my favorite parts, I'll just put one from each segment, since each little part can just be classified as its own song. So starting with Act 1, it has a very nice bombastic sounding instrumentals, which works well for a finale song. Also gotta appreciate how this is the first and only time Girlfriend gets a chance to sing in one of these songs, and she does a really good job. I like her vocals. Ultra M's vocals are also really good, with them sounding really rugged and soulless, since at this point he's completely gotten rid of the Mario voice that he's had throughout most of the mod. Ultra M's design is also extremely cool, with the eyes coming out from his cap just like with Cappy from Mario Odyssey, except with his own eyes instead of someone else's. Plus some other neat things like multiple arms protruding from his body, and his shoes now being fused with his legs. So Act 1 already brings us to a great start, and then things just get better when we get to Act 2. Act 2 now takes place in a Super Mario Bros. 3 themed segment featuring a character named Omega. Act 2 has that same bombastic feeling that Act 1 had, which works well with tying both of those acts together. I also really love Omega's vocals, but I don't really know how to describe why, I just really like them. But the best part about Omega is definitely his animation, with all of them being extremely exaggerated and feeling unique from one another. He does so many unique different poses and changes his eyes in so many different ways, and it's honestly just really cool to see. Omega eventually leaves Act 2 and gets replaced by LG, War, and Yosh. Each of their designs is kinda cool and neatly grotesque, but what I like most about them is their vocals, since each of them do actually sound like Luigi, Wario, and Yoshi respectively. Plus the parts where they harmonize together always sound really good. And then there's Act 3, which, while is my least favorite from a song perspective, from an actual execution perspective of the visuals and idea, it is absolutely amazing. Ultra M using Girlfriend as some sort of puppet to toy around with Boyfriend is insanely twisted, but at the same time also insanely cool, and just goes to show how little morale Ultra M truly has. Plus, while the instrumentals do kind of take away from the same vibe that the instrumentals in Act 1 and Act 2 had, it fits a lot more considering the circumstances, with those instrumentals being a kind of somber piano type of feeling. Plus, Girlfriend's vocals sound extremely scratched up, which is great for a sort of puppeteered around corpse. Also, Ultra M singing to Boyfriend about how he should just give up and succumb to his fate since he has no one left to care for, and that he's completely powerless in this situation, is absolutely perfect. And finally, there's Act 4, which is easily my favorite of all the acts. The instrumentals for this part combine the bombasticness of Acts 1 and 2, plus the somberness of Act 3, and work together to make an instrumental that's just completely unforgettable. This part has an art style change, and it looks really nice with it having a watercolor type of look to it. Also, I can't mention this part of the song without talking about the fact that Ultra M mimics the voices of other characters seen in the mod. Sometimes they're a little bit hard to hear, but the more I've listened to the song, the easier it is to hear them. Also, I haven't seen anyone talk about this, but whoever he mimics, he's also using the original motifs from the song that they were in. Some are more obvious than others, but it's still really cool to see. These mimics also are a great way of showing that despite everything that Boyfriend has been through throughout the entire mod, none of it was worth it, as all of it comes crumbling down when he dies. This is, in my opinion, one of the best ways that they could have ended the entire mod. There's obviously some problems with it, like how not everything mixes well when it goes from one act to another, but with the skill in the song and how well it does in concluding the mod, I can't help but just absolutely love it.
say, dude, I know that Mario is, like, red and all, but, like, he's not this red. This is way too red, dude. Like, you gotta tone down the red, man. You tone it down, man.
Not only is Paranoia an extremely great song, but out of all the songs on the mod, it's easily the best with how it utilizes its mechanics. Before I can get into any of that though, I need to talk about what it's based off of. This song is based off of the series Mr. Virtual Tapes by the Any Guy. And now I don't know too much about Mr. Virtual's character, so I'm just gonna go off of what I've heard of him. So from what I heard, Mr. Virtual used to be a circus performer who burnt down the entire circus that he used to work at, and then got hunted down by a detective at E3, where he would eventually die. He would then possess a Virtual Boy console at that E3, and then torment any poor victims that came his way. That's all I really know about the series. So as for the song, the instrumentals have a nice 8-bit type of tune to it, which fits with the Virtual Boy still being in an 8-bit aesthetic. And carrying along with that 8-bit aesthetic are also Mr. Virtual's vocals, which sound very scratched up. Both of those elements make together for a song that flows really well. I also love Mr. Virtual's design because they do a unique thing with him with each pose he has. His right sprite gives him multiple eyes, his up sprite puts the eyes in his mouth, and his down sprite pops the eyes out of his head. Each of them are so unique and expressive, and I love that. I also like how the background specifically is a reference to that one Mario Virtual Boy game. I forgot the name of it, but I'll put the cover for the game on screen. They even put distorted Koopas in the background at one point, just like how the game would spawn Koopas that you need to hit. Also, because of the way the Virtual Boy was, everything is black and red, which makes me glad I'm not playing this song in VR unlike the Virtual Boy, because I feel like my eyes would hurt after just like 5 seconds. However, I haven't even said what my favorite part of the song is yet, and that's the mechanics. The song wants you to play it in window mode, and it's for a very good reason, because after just a little bit of time in the song, the window starts moving around on its own, and even to the beat of the song. However, it doesn't end there, because later in the song, Mr. Virtual takes the form of Girlfriend, and the background wallpaper on your computer completely changes. I don't know how they did this, but that is awesome. I honestly said all I feel like I need to say. The visuals are absolutely amazing, and the mechanics are the best I've seen in the entire mod. Don't got much else, so yeah, let's move on.
I cannot beat you? Good. I don't wanna. Unless you gave me those $5 Totinos you promised me.
Out of every song in the mod, Unbeatable is one of the most fascinating ones to me. This song is based off of an old 3D Australian Nintendo commercial, where this guy in a suit along with a bunch of other Nintendo mascots for the NES challenge you to beat their games because they think they can't be beaten. I do see the thing that this commercial was trying to achieve, and how video games back then were pretty challenging, so the commercial is tempting you to buy the games yourselves to see if you can actually beat them. However, most people just kind of found this commercial to be kind of disturbing, with the uncomfortable 3D models, the weird voices, and the horrifying music in the background. And all of that kind of made for a commercial that I bet a few 10-year-olds wet their pants to. And it just insanely intrigues me how they took a 30-second commercial and turned it into an over 10-minute song. Like, how does this one really short commercial inspire you to make a song this long? Anyways, the instrumentals are both very techno and also very video game-like, which fits with the fact that this is a commercial for a video game. Also, just like All Stars, the song is split up into 4 different sections. However, unlike All Stars, all of them flow within to the next, so none of them sound off or just disconnected from the entire song. And because of that, while I'll still show my favorite parts for each section, I'm not going to go over them that individually because they're not too different from one another. I do at least want to say though that each act brings in something new to the instrumentals, mostly related to the things they come from, like with Duck Hunt adding some gunshots in the background, and Bowser using sounds and motifs from other Mario games. The song also uses various different ways to decrease the player's health bar, like Duck Hunt Dog shooting it down or Bowser using one of those lava blocks. Plus, later in the song, Bowser also puts bullet bills on screen to block your vision of what you're supposed to be doing. Also, something that I didn't mention up until now that I really need to is that the style for the song is perfect. All the characters from that commercial look the exact same way they did in said commercial, and BF and GF are put into the exact same same style. And I can't deny there's something about this style that I kinda like. I think this just mostly goes to show that this mod has so much quality to it with how they have stuff like this in it. One last thing I wanted to mention is that I like how progressive the song is, with how it starts with Mr. SYS, then it goes to Duck Hunt Dog, then it goes to Bowser, and then it's just all of them together. Plus the ending just in general feels very bombastic. Also, one last thing I almost forgot to mention is that I really do like the way that this song uses the message of the original commercial and then applies it to this specific scenario in them saying that you can't beat them in this battle. And yeah, that's it. This song's pretty good. What? Were you expecting me to start singing in Spanish? Is that what you want? Well, too bad. I don't really know how to introduce Overdue other than saying that this is an absolutely fantastic song. This song is based off of the Mario horror game known as TooLate.exe, which was made by Mr. Pixel Productions. It's a Mario Bros. 3 styled game where the story goes is that Mario accidentally killed Luigi in a pool of lava, and now Mario's haunted by Luigi, and Luigi torments him and stuff. And then at the end of the game, Luigi, who is referred to as Mr. L, kills Mario the same way Mario accidentally killed him. You know, if I had a nickel for every time a horror version of Luigi in this mod was killed by Mario when he dropped him in the lava, then I would have 2 nickels. And you know, if you ask me, that's too many nickels. As for the song, I should probably mention before we get into any specifics that this is the only song that Pico gets to appear in, and he sounds good in it. I'm not the biggest fan of beatboxing vocals, but I don't really mind it for Pico. The song has a mostly intense vibe throughout the entire thing, aside from a few select portions, and also the instrumentals just sound good in general, but that should be obvious by now. Now obviously, the true highlight here with this song is Mr. L himself. When we first get introduced to Mr. L, he just seems like Luigi and even sounds like Luigi. He also doesn't move much with each of his animations. When you get to the end of his second turn, however, you hear a more demonic sounding voice coming from him, and everything from there changes when he shows off his true self. From here on out, his animations are way more expressive, and just like at the end of his second verse from before, he sounds way more demonic. Mr. L also has a slightly unsettling design with the black soulless eyes and the gaping mouth. It's not super scary, but like, show this to someone at 1 AM in the morning and they'll probably feel a little uncomfortable. Because they'll be confused why you wanted to show them this at 1 in the morning. I also need to mention this bullet mechanic that Pico has. Basically, whenever a bullet note appears, you gotta press it, because if you don't, then this little counter that you see in the back that has 3 bullets in it will slowly go down. If you miss 4 bullet notes in the entire song, then you lose. I also like that they're not just placing these notes in random spots, they're putting it specifically at times to play along with the music. And honestly, that's pretty cool. Another thing I wanted to bring up that I haven't really brought up for many of the songs in this list is the background design. You get taken to 3 different places throughout the entire song, each of them referencing a different level from the original game. The first area you're at is around the second stage of the game, the second area you're at is around the middle of the game, and the last area you're taken to is the final part of the game. And speaking of the ending bit, I gotta talk about it because it's really cool. Just like in the original, you run through a long hallway through Bowser's castle as a line of Mr. L's watch on you. And while Pico is running the same way they do it in the Mize, the Mr. L's being there just makes me question how they even did this with the same character just looping over and over again. And I think this one scene just goes to show how much quality this one song has. Also, there's this ghost version of Mario that appears at some point towards the end of the song, and I just wanted to mention him here because I don't have much to say other than I like his vocals.
Costco coupon.
Power Down was a decent song in version 1, but it completely outclasses every other version 1 song in this entire mod. I already talked about the origins of Mario 85 kind of, so if you want to hear about that, just go back to my section on Demise. This song starts out as another one of those bait and switch songs, with it featuring MX in his smallest form, that being False Hero, where he kinda just looks like how Mario already does in the original Super Mario Bros. During this beginning part of the song, the instrumentals sound a tad bit mysterious, and False Hero's vocals are a little bit off. They kinda sound like Mario, but they're just slightly off-putting. Then he turns into MX, and you'll very quickly realize that this man is really tall. Look, I'm just saying, LeBron would be shivering if this man showed up to a basketball game. This version of MX could probably see the original MX and then just squash him. The best way I can describe the rest of this song is, like, powerful. Like, it feels like all of MX's vocals and the instrumentals in the background just feel like they have a lot of force to them. And with MX being this pretty big guy who seemed to have killed people before, it definitely does a good job of showing what power he's capable of. I also like how this version takes elements from version 1 and then just refines them to be better. Like, it'll take the certain note patterns from version 1 and then add on to them in order for them to mix well with the new instrumentals. I'll briefly just bring up the mechanic here because it's not all too interesting. It's just another one of those spacebar mechanics where it'll just warn you and then you have to press space so that way your health bar doesn't go down. But it works and I got no problem with it. Also gotta appreciate how the background is nice and deformed just like how it is in the original game. It's honestly hard for me to say anything else without just repeating myself because these songs are just good. And yet with the song with phenomenal vocal presentation and great instrumentals, there's still 2 more songs I think are better than it. Also, MX says his iconic line while killing girlfriends, so I think that's a plus.
To show all the newest game releases. Nintendo, that is. You're not gonna see the blue mouse here.
Promotion is the most underrated song in the entire mod, and I'll stand by that statement until the day I die. Just like with Abandon and The End, this is based off of videos from the Super Mario 64 Classified series. However, this specific song is based off of 2 different videos from the series. These 2 to be specific. In promo show, Mario is advertising a new show known as Nintendo Mania where he goes over game releases for Nintendo. And from what I can tell, most of the video is just Luigi in Super Mario 64 as some other creepy stuff happens, like Luigi dying by drowning. Also, Mario, I know your brother died, but this is not the way to cope. And then there's the other video, which for the most part is just normal Super Mario 64 video footage until the end, where Mario, who in this case is Stanley, shows up along with Luigi and Peach beside him. Again, I don't know too much about the series, but if someone could give me a quick TLDR of it, that'd be nice. When it comes to the song, the beginning of it has these nice, chilled out instrumentals, which fit well with how this is just a nice, chill first episode of Nintendo Mania. And while Mario's vocals don't sound like Mario and more so just sound like some guy, it's fine because the original video also didn't have Mario sounding that much like Mario. I like all of Mario's different poses, and for some reason, I don't know why, but I just feel like they all give some sort of commercially type vibe to them. I say it in how it feels like someone would do poses like this whenever they're filming a commercial. The song continues with its chill and relaxed vibe until Luigi shows up drowning on the TV, to which Mario's notes become all simple and his animations are way less expressive. Then after the TV cuts out, we wait on silence for just a bit before Stanley reveals himself. The song is now extremely intense with all of the notes going at a pretty fast pace, and all of Stanley's animations, including his idle one, feel terrifying and ominous all at once. All of Stanley's animations look corrupted and deformed, and it looks completely phenomenal. Plus, this makes very heavy references to the video I showed earlier where Luigi and Peach appear in the background, and there's even text on the screen that mimics the text that was seen in the original video. And also, sometimes during this intense part of the song, I feel like it mimics some sort of carnival ride feeling, but in a twisted, dark way. It helps with the fact that the notes move around to the beat of the song, and Stanley has more deep-sounding vocals. And even though this section is my favorite part of the song, the beginning section is also still great. So I'd say out of every song in this mod, please go show this one some love, it deserves it.
are poor because you feel the need to download Mario Party DS illegally.
I am not joking or lying to you when I say that No Party has been my favorite song ever since this mod first came out. The song is based off of a YouTube series known as Mario Party DS Anti-Piracy Screen made by Jolie Periglione. The series is about some guy who pirated Mario Party DS, and the game does stuff that the game would never normally do, like call him a criminal. I've watched the series and it's actually pretty high quality with unique dialogue, unique minigames, and other stuff like that. He even appropriately reuses game assets, like in this screen that everybody knows is a reused asset from the game's story mode. Later on though, the series would get a little bit more interesting, adding this character named DJ Hollybu, who would be at the end of Personified Host, but then got properly introduced with Host Hoedown. In the Host Hoedown video, the player is forced to write out apologies that are put on the screen for them, and if they take too long, DJ Hollybu will attack them. However, when they have to write out the word criminal, the word keeps moving around, leaving them unable to actually write it down. It's really cool to see that for a small series like this, he was able to build 3D models and animations for a fake minigame. He also appeared in the finale to the series, where he came to kill the guy who had been pirating Mario Party DS all this time. Also, the guy who voices DJ Hollybu in this video, who is now currently the official voice for DJ Hollybu, is Juno Songs, who is a YouTuber that makes a bunch of videos where he takes game OSTs and then puts lyrics over them, and he did it for No Party when it came out. It's pretty good, and I definitely recommend you guys go check it out. And you know, for that matter, just go check out Mario Party DS Anti-Piracy, because it's honestly really good. There's currently a new act to the series going on, and even though Joey hasn't uploaded in a year, I'm sure it'll come back someday. One more thing before I get into the song, I wanted to point out how both Joey and Juno were a part of this mod, since Juno provided the vocals for DJ Hollybu, and Joey made the original version of No Party. Also, I always wanted to point this out, but DJ Hollybu is literally just a thinner version of DJ Mick Ballyhoo from Mario Party 8. It's just been funny to me because it's funny to think that out of all Mario characters Joey could have chosen, he chose this random character who hasn't appeared in any other Mario game aside from this one. Though honestly, I vibe with DJ Hollybu infinitely more than Mick Ballyhoo. Anyways, this song is phenomenal. The instrumentals feel grand and mystical, and they also have some sounds that kind of feel like what I would hear in a Mario Party game. Obviously, DJ Hollybu's vocals sound extremely accurate to how he already sounds because, you know, they got the official voice actor to play him. But I still like his voice. He's got a good job at being a showman and everything. Also, the part where you have to write out criminal while a guitar solo plays in the background, that's just good. That's the good stuff. The game also changes the aspect ratio so that way it fits like a DS screen. It also helps with some of the crunchy and pixelated looking sprites like the arrows you have to press. And speaking of sprites, I need to talk about DJ Hollybu's sprites because all of them feel extremely cool and ominous in some sort of way. And I just really like the way they designed him in this mod in general, because if they went with his old design, it would kind of look goofy. But this design makes him a lot more intimidating and makes it feel like he's actually ready to put on a show of some kind. Also, I literally cannot talk about the song without talking about its mechanic. If you remember from the Host Hoedown video, the player was forced to write out apologies to DJ Hollybu by tracing what was on the screen. In this song, you actually have to do that, and you're given a time limit to do so. And how well you did determines how far your health bar goes down by a bit. Now, I've watched a few YouTubers try and do this song, and they've always failed at it because they have to use the mouse to actually draw anything. However, I was always able to do this song pretty well, and I always had fun doing the specific mechanic. Oh, it's that? You don't believe me? You don't believe what I say? Well, I'll prove it to you. You didn't believe me, but I said I would do it, so I'm doing it. Look, I'm gonna... Trust me, I can do it. I can do it. I originally didn't want to show my footage because like I know I'm bad at this game and I know the footage would suck. But I wanted to show for this one because I can do this song well. I see a lot of people struggle with it. be honest, I'm not perfect at this song because I had to do a few like mistakes before doing this part, but I've done this song before, and I feel good that I can beat it on this try. You know, most people rush at this specific part, but I'm gonna take my time because you're given the most amount of time to do this part out of like any of the other chords. So yeah, I'm taking my time on this part. Alright, I think I got it now. See, this is honestly an addition that they didn't need to add, but I'm so glad they did because it's such a cool thing to have. And while I can see some people disliking the song because of its mechanic, I just really like it thanks to it. And thanks to its phenomenal presentation, great instrumentals, and great vocals, No Party is my favorite song in the Mario Madness version 2 mod. And that's pretty much everything I wanted to say. If you want to go check out the mod for yourself, I'll leave a link in the description. If you want to go check out my channel and support it, you can click right here on the little icon I have. And if you want to go watch another video, then you can click right here on the video here. Anyways, thank you for watching, and bye.
Isn't that what you're doing?
I hate you.